Hello and welcome to another video from the Fantasy Legion. I've got Sean with me again. You all right, Sean?
Great to be back. Great to be back, Alan. It's brilliant talking about these rookies now they've landed.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Very exciting. This is a guy that you've been really keen on in the past, J.K. Dobbins. He's landed in a mouth-watering place.
I never expected that in a million years. I just thought the talent was brilliant. And as I say in that video, if you go back and look at it, it's worth looking at that video. One of the keys was his blocking downfield. Now, I think that's why Baltimore, it may be obvious to talk about a running back in terms of being a running back, but his ability to block downfield opens the running game up for the quarterback and also helps the wide receivers down the field as well, which is really brilliant. I think that's what they saw because the defenses last year, at the end of last year against Baltimore, had tried to work a corral out to stop Lamar Jackson. He weren't going to stop him running all the time, obviously, very talented guy, but they tried to corral him and limit that. This opens it up again. So it's kind of a move against a move. Plus, Dobbins is a mouth-watering prospect moving forward.
Another thing you said was, I hope another NFL team sees the talent that I see in him and they go and they pick him in the second round and they pick him early. And what the Ravens actually said when they were on the clock, they didn't really want to run him back, but they couldn't believe he was a player of his talent was still there. So they had to take him.
Yes, So it's a nice vindication because there were many doubters before the NFL draft, and there always will be. I'll be the first to say, for every Henderson that we get wrong, we get our bold predictions right, and it's easy. It's always we're the kind of podcasters channel, particularly I think myself and Al, where we're brave. We're not frightened to say what we think long before they land. And that's far braver than after they've landed. It's easy then. He's got a mouth-watering opportunity. Baltimore Ravens have seen a fantastic player. If we're honest, if we're critically honest for the year ahead, sure, fantasy-wise, perhaps, with Ingram still there, another running back still in the backfield, quintet, quartet, whatever you want to call it, it will be tricky to see him getting an absolute mouth-watering volume of work year one, but we still will see a very good volume. Year two and onwards in Dynasty, we're going to look at a very different situation, a very high caliber running back that will go very high in your Dynasty draft. So he is at the moment about pick 5 or 6, and I think that's brilliant value for a longer-term Dynasty valuable pick. So I really like him.
He could even fall to 7 or 8. Depends on how people
on
value
the draft. Yeah, and the players' needs and the team needs above you. So it's very, very good. At the moment, he's been averaging round about pick 5 from what I've seen over several drafts. And I can understand if he drops one way or the other 1 point either way at the moment. That's perfectly okay with me. Brilliant player. Get some shares, really. And, you won't regret it. And I'm really pleased we made
what are his big strengths as you see them, then? Why should everyone go and get shares? Apart from the fit with Lamar, obviously, and the Ravens. But
the first thing is the issue, the rub on him is now gone, right? So the rub was he hasn't got top end speed. Well, you're now in Baltimore Ravens, you don't need it anymore because everybody else around you has. So it's very difficult for the defenders to key up on you as a running back. So that's gone. If you give him he's brilliant over the first yard. In fact, he's one of the best in the class at the first yard, which is what you need as a running back. He's very good at making holes. People don't often see that about him. They say, oh, yeah, but you see the highlight tapes, it's all to the edges. You obviously haven't watched the games. If you watch the games, the guy takes a 1-yard loss into a 3-yard gain. That's the credential of a great running back. He's got all the qualities you want, and he catches brilliantly. You can argue Hilaire is the best in the class of that, and I'm not going to try to argue it because I think that's fair. But he's there. He's there or thereabouts. He's NFL ready. In terms of running backs, he can do all 3 phases. And not only does he pass protect the quarterback, which is so critical, he blocks downfield. He's a brilliant game studier. He's one of those that will be very hard-working in the NFL. He's in the team where the sky's the limit, I think, for capability. He's got the capability to do anything. And, if Mark Ingram can get 15 touchdowns, and I'm not denying Mark Ingram is a talent. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying if he can do that without really any pass-catching ability, and still managed to get 3 or 4 touchdowns in the air. Mark Ingram got 3 or 4 passes. What could Dobbins do there? It'd be amazing. So I'm very excited, and really chuffed that he's landed in the right spot. And other teams have seen that. And what a team to come up and get you! What an opportunity!
What an offense! It's a high-powered offense, free scoring.
It's what you're looking. You know, when you look at this draft, it's really interesting. Before the rookies landed, you know, we were all a bit. I was very rightly concerned that there was only a few quality places where running backs could go, and funny enough, none of them went there. And now we've got an interesting situation where there's actually some of these big guns have gone to teams where really longer term, or even maybe in the short term, they've got a great opportunity, more than we even thought. So, all right, there isn't many of them, of course, but there's a few really tasty running backs, and he's one of them for this draft class.
I think it's fair to say in this class that some of their short-term prospects are not as good as they are long-term, because they have gone to places like where there's a Marlon Mack, or you know, in this case where there's Mark Ingram, and that could blunt their value for this year.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, redraft-wise, Dobbins is very, very hard to value, because you're going to have to calculate what you think he can do year one. I kind of worked it out on the Gus Edwards role. Gus Edwards kind of got 130-ish carries, 20 or so targets in the end. I think he's a better receiver than Gus Edwards. So even if we argue that he gets about 35 to 40 potential targets or catches,
and they got Justice Hill as well, though, haven't they? I mean,
yeah, it's hard to see much more production than sort of about 800-900 yards, maybe 7-8 touchdowns, and that's okay in Dynasty at the right value.
Well, I think.
But that value is difficult to judge, and it's difficult to know when to play him, because if you've got two good starters, are you really going to put a player in who you're not sure what he's going to do week to week? That always is the worst conundrum. So I probably think year one in redraft, you probably got to take Ingram above him for obvious reasons. But in year two and onwards, all of that changes. So he's probably not your top quality redraft. There's a value there, because if Ingram was to go down, this guy immediately is heir apparent, no doubt. But you're gambling on Ingram going down. That just isn't. I just don't see that with Ingram.
That's not a good plan to go. Then obviously, if you can pick him up later at a value, then that's fine, isn't it? But
yeah, I mean, if you've got Ingram and you've got a Dobbins, and he's your sort of fourth or fifth running back, even in a large league, well done. That's really good drafting, and I think you're set for a good year ahead. So. Redraft, yes, the value will be a lot lower, but in Dynasty, great chance to do something year one, particularly if you're struggling. It's fine, because let's be honest, if you've got a struggling team, you've got Dobbins. Okay, he doesn't do a lot for you year one. That doesn't matter, because frankly, you're probably going to get another high pick next year, and everything will fall together for you. So it's a win-win. So yeah, redraft, difficult. Dynasty, great. A good few years ahead and exciting for your team.
Yeah, and he's an all-rounder, so that could really make him very valuable. But
very, yeah.
It's always not what we. Sometimes we don't get what we think we're going to get with these players. So it's going to be interesting to see how he pans out, really. Especially with that crowded backfield. Let's hope he's got the talent to make it a nice pick.
He can do well for you. He will not let you down. And when you see what he's capable of, honestly, you won't regret that pick in Dynasty. He will come very good for you, but it will take a season.
I know you've been putting a few people that weren't so sure about Dobbins. I know you put them onto him. So
I think people with any doubts,
how you
if there were any doubts beforehand, and rightly, I could understand them, because people. A lot of time in fantasy circles, there's a buzz that goes around. People say sweeping comments about a player, and that's what sticks, till they land. So you'll hear things like doesn't have top end speed, isn't necessarily the best pass blocker in the group. And I think, oh my God, what are you watching? Come on, be serious with me, please. I mean, because you don't see a running back go down the field and block for your wide receivers, and that shows not only speed but determination, and that shows teamwork at the highest order. I mean, so that's a player, particularly for Baltimore. I mean, I can't think of a better fit. That's about as good as it gets. It's like if Hilaire was, any player goes to Kansas and you have to work out their skill set, Hilaire was the right fit. It's like for Baltimore, I never dreamed it would be possible that he'd go there, but if I had to pick a team, that would have been a perfect one.
Okay, well, there you go. J.K. Dobbins, if you've enjoyed the video, please give us a thumbs up, and there's plenty more of these profiles coming. We'll see you
on the next one.
Thanks for watching.